EliteConversations.com. EliteConversations.com. EliteConversations.com.
Hello. This is Daryl Spears with EliteConversations.com. I want to welcome everyone to Elite Conversations Unplugged. We are here on a Thursday evening. Thank you guys for, again, checking in with us. Elite Conversations Unplugged is about you, the business owner, where we come once a week just to share some knowledge with you about different areas of business that can help you take your business to the next level. For the last 2 weeks, this is the second week, we're actually talking social media. And we have two fantastic guests in here, and I want to introduce them. But before I do that, I want to thank Mr. Ken Barham, the owner of at Techs on the Run. IT professional, was here last week. Ken was outstanding in providing us knowledge and information about YouTube and how you can use YouTube for your business. Also want to thank Thomas Ellis of EWC Consultants, excellent coach, and with LinkedIn provided us a lot of information. And for those two, for Ken, you can reach him at Twitter at Ken_Barham, Behram. And for Thomas Ellis, you can reach him at LinkedIn or at 301-343-0017. So I just wanted to thank them for being on the show last week. Again, my name is Daryl Spears. I am the owner of EliteConversations.com, and our goal is to help small business owners bring their message forward so they can prosper. One of the things we do for small business owners is we help them in three ways: in providing knowledge, help them in obtaining resources, and help them to build the connections that they need to move forward. So this is a show that speaks to our call to provide that purpose. So I thank you guys for joining us. So tonight, we're going to pick right up on social media. I have two outstanding young ladies here. We have our tea. Tonight was supposed to be latte Thursday. Have your latte and social media, but you know what? We were rushing today, so the next best thing is tea. So for all of you out there, we have some tea and social media. First person I do want to introduce is Miss Kelly Leonard. She is the owner of Taylor Leonard Corporation, and she's an outstanding person in terms of helping small business owners in the area of LinkedIn optimization, and she's a great social media strategist. She is an accurate and local, impactful, value-based, and engaging company. They are trained. Wow. You've trained 5,000 business professionals and generated $500,000 through LinkedIn within the first 24 months of adopting the signature Boost formula design. So Boost, we're going to talk a little bit about that, and we're going to talk a little bit about that $500,000 because I need to, where's my notepad? If I can get $500,000 off of LinkedIn, I'm missing the boat here. So we're going to talk about that. She focuses on building your brand, optimizing your relationships, obtaining more leads, securing a thought leadership space, and tapping into new markets. So I definitely want to welcome Kelly Leonard to the show tonight. Thank you, Kelly, for joining us. And my second guest is Laris Bernard of LGB Productions. She is an awesome public relations and public producer. LBG Production provides a broad spectrum of public relations and marketing assistance. LGBP produces promotional events, increases brand visibility, expands sales markets, and films online videos. Oh, you're in my space there a little bit too. We got to talk about that. LGB Production specializes in brand promotion as well. They do blogs, advertising. They teach you the proper usage of social media, promotional events. So these ladies are going to be able to share a wealth of information with us today. So first and foremost, Kelly, thank you for coming on to the show.
Thank you for having me here. I'm excited to be here.
Excellent. I hope I gave you, justified you in the right way in terms of what you do. I know you do a whole lot more than LinkedIn.
Oh, my
your company
goodness.
is awesome. Just share with us a little bit about your company and what you do.
So Taylor Leonard Corporation is a woman-owned small business. We're headquartered in Gaithersburg. And we are a training and business development organization that really maximizes the use of technology as a mechanism to help increase organizational productivity as well as profitability.
Excellent. I love that. And your target is a little bit small companies, mid-size. You cover it all,
it's interesting. It's interesting. More recently, we've really been doing a lot in the workforce development space.
Okay.
So a lot of our clients have been individuals, so job seekers, a lot of C-suite executives that are in this transitional phase, whether it be they suffered a career loss or maybe they're trying to figure out what they want to be when they grow up because they're approaching retirement, all the way up to large organizations like NIH, the National Cancer Institute, Montgomery College, University of Maryland, Pentagon Federal Credit Union, and everything in between there. But truly, our heart is to help entrepreneurs and small businesses.
That's excellent, and we appreciate that. So we're going to help you small business owners out there today and entrepreneurs. And Laura, share a little bit about your business and what you do.
Hi, well, LGB Productions is also another woman-owned small business. We are located in Washington, D.C., and we concentrate mostly on producing publicity. So that's more for your media relations. We do it through social media. We do the videos because the videos help with the social media push.
Absolutely.
So it's mostly about, just raising your visibility for each brand and for each company. And we do, some business development because you want to figure out what markets you want to reach and how best to reach them. So we do a little bit. Basically, it's a marketing company, and we just kind of emphasize mostly the social media and this media relations.
Okay, excellent. So the first question I want to ask, we talked a lot last week about some of the features and things that you can use for your business in social media. I want to start off with asking you all, how should new business owners think about social media before they even launch it as part of their business promotion format? It's so easy as a new business owner to say, okay, we're just going to do social media and send a bunch of stuff out and see. But what is the process, and how should you strategically think about using social media for a business?
Well, I was thinking about Kelly and thinking about LinkedIn and that kind of basically that question, because it always comes up with a small business. It's like, well, what is my return? Why should I do this? And the thing is, most people don't realize is that social media is a marketing tool. It is a leads management tool. It is not sales.
Right.
It is leads. So that's why she's so successful with LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is like fishing in a barrel.
Right.
There are all these leads that you have to pursue and then sell and pitch to them, pitch and sell to them. So it's not that you put out a post on Facebook and then just stare at the phone because they're going to call you. They're not going to call you. You got to call them.
Absolutely.
And so when you're a new business, the strategy is that you use social media, and yes, you have to have social media because everybody's looking and expecting you to be there. It's kind of like the party that you don't show up to, that everybody's like, well, where were you?
Yes.
So you have to be there. You have to be on Facebook. You have to be on Twitter. Maybe Google Plus and Instagram, and you have to hit a couple other markets based on who your sales market is. So you have to be there, but you need to know that this is your marketing tool. This is your face. This is your brand. This is your message. This is meeting and meeting new customers and engaging them. That's always the biggest thing. I have had an intern, and she put out 10 posts in an hour, and she's like, yes. I was like, no.
Overload. Information overload.
And still she's like, I'm done for the month. No.
Wow.
So funny. It's kind of, there's a strategy for what you post, when you post it, and how many different kinds of posts. And then, there's a lot of other ways to go about it.
Yeah, and I think just to piggyback off of what Laris was saying, it's just a tool. It certainly doesn't replace some of the more traditional tools that we as business owners use in order to sort of reach that end goal and getting people through our sales funnel, so to speak. But to me, I look at LinkedIn specifically, or any social media platform, as it serves a purpose to help us to compress the time that it takes for someone to get to know, like, and trust us.
Yes.
Because it serves as sort of our digital calling card, if you will, so that I can get to know you. I can see, oh, you went to that school, I went to that school. You worked at that place, I worked at. You have that interest. Oh, and we happen to share all these plethora of people in common. And so it helps us to bring down the walls of defenses, to identify affinity that we may have or points of interest that we may share with one another, so that then we can have more meaningful and engaging conversations when we do get to the point where we have a face-to-face or a telephone call. But it certainly never will replace those traditional forms of getting together, sort of belly to belly, what they say, sales, that so many of us, I think, now think, for whatever reason, we turn our brain off, like, oh, social media, I'm just going to sit behind the keyboard and hide behind this persona, and think that just sort of that the money's just going to come running in, because that doesn't happen. It's just it's a lot of work that has to take place behind the scenes, and so it's just a tool.
Yeah, it is. It's a tool, and I know from my experience, I've gotten the biggest bang for my buck in using it as a tool, but also picking up that phone and making that contact with individuals.
You are good for that.
Yeah.
Daryl will call you.
Won't I do it? I will call you.
Won't he do it?
I will pick up the phone and call. And that's how, I've really been able to grow quickly. And people are willing to talk. At all levels. I've tried them all. I'll call and pick them up no matter what the name is. But it is really important. Talk a little bit about etiquette. So when you do get to the point in terms of reaching out to social media, and you start to get that connection and people are pinging you, what's the proper etiquette in terms of making that phone call and approaching it in a business sense? Because you don't want to just call and go right into the sales pitch. It's like, look, this is what I do. But how do you go about developing that relationship that will take you to another level in business in terms of building an alliance or coming together and eventually maybe a sale? How does that work for you?
So for me, it's no different than, again, I always go back to tradition, right? It's almost as though you need to be a good listener, and also being in a position where you're trying to identify ways that you can serve other people first. And so my sort of strategy that I have is anytime I meet or connect with someone new on LinkedIn, my goal is to always have some level of interaction much deeper beyond and outside of LinkedIn. So I have sort of this standard practice where once I make the connection, I then send them a message to say, hey, Daryl, thanks for accepting my connection request, or thanks for inviting me to connect. Now that we're linked, let's schedule a quick 5-minute call, the purpose of which is for me to get to know you, you to get to know me, and we can explore ways that we might be able to help one another. And most people are very open to that approach because first and foremost, it's 5 minutes. As opposed to let's schedule a conference call or let's have because even if you in the back of your mind you're thinking, oh, it's only a 10-minute conference call, anytime we as business leaders or business owners hear the words conference call, we're thinking that's a 30-plus minute commitment. And so we automatically tune out. I don't have time for that.
Exactly.
As opposed to if you approach them and say, hey, 5 minutes, I want to learn about you, and let's explore ways to help one another. Most people are very receptive to that. And then even beyond that, when you actually schedule the call, then being mindful of the fact that, hey, Daryl, I know we said 5 minutes. Why don't you take the first 2.5? And when you go through your 2.5, I'm listening. I'm hearing more about who you are, what you do, who are the types of clients that you serve. And at the very end, my goal is to always ask you, well, Daryl, that's really great. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking about how can I help him? But then I just come out and ask, what's one specific way I can serve you or I can help you based on everything that you just shared with me? And most people, they're either going to be totally caught off guard because they're like, what? That's so generous. Like, thank you so much. And so, or they're going to say, wow, do you know anybody who does whatever? And then that's why it pays to know who's in your network, because for me, the next best thing to me winning a new client is helping Laris get a new client, or helping you get someone in my network, helping them to win a new client. But the only way that I'm going to be able to do that is if I have some level of conversation with people to, at a very surface level, know what they do, so that I can be in a position to almost be an extension of their business development.
I love that. I love that. And I like that you take 2.5, I take 2.5. And that way you focused in, making sure that you're listening.
Absolutely.
And paying attention and not just worrying about when you're going to be. Get your word in.
Yeah. And the funny thing is by you asking at that very end of the 2.5, what's one specific way that I can help you? It's only natural that after your 2.5, they're going to say, well, Kelly, what's one specific way I can Well, I'm so glad you asked me. Do you know anybody who? And so, and then it opens up the door for that conversation, as opposed to, it's, we're all so passionate. The thing that, just is a challenge is business owners, we're so super excited about what it is that we do that we want to just blurt it all out to someone. And so we haven't gotten good to paring down our conversation to 2.5 and knowing, okay, what is it specifically that I need help with, so that when I am in a conversation with someone, they'll know enough about me where they're in a position to help me, I'm in a position to help them, and then we're able to build mutually beneficial relationships.
Outstanding. I love it. I love it. And what type of things do you do at Laris in terms of etiquette, in terms of making sure that conversation goes well?
I think it really is mostly about just finding out what they need and being, a lot of times, I think sometimes, being from New York, I do tend to want to go straight in. And and I have to remind myself, say hello.
Right.
How you doing?
Mason-Dixon line, slow your roll.
So I do have to slow it down. So it is a little bit about, like you said, just be courteous and start the conversation in a friendly manner, and then figure out, where the conversation is going to go from there. But basically, I had learned that, from other mentors, is that the best way to really gain new clients, the best way to really grow, is to first give.
Yes.
If you're the first one to give, then, and you have to give maybe 2 times, and then 2-3 times, and then, it'll come back around. But you have to cast the breads out on the waters first.
That's right.
Before they come back. So it is being generous will always get you, and graciousness and generosity will get you where you want to go.
Now, does that change across the platforms? And when I think of LinkedIn, I always think about business, professionals, corporations. So you think about that etiquette piece there. Now, when you get to Twitter.
Well, Twitter, that's true. Twitter tends
just,
to be a little bit more brief. Usually people they set up their automatic responses, and they're kind of giving you their pitch right off the bat. As soon as you hit like, you get a pitch as to what they got to go. Or sometimes it is a request or a suggestion of, tell us how I can help, or do you need this? Have you heard about that? Sometimes it is a little bit more. And I have to say that I tend to just kind of ignore them all. So I don't know. The first couple I read, and then after a while I was like, oh, this is a thing to do. And so I don't even say I really even check the messages. So it's an option. Sometimes it'll work, and sometimes it won't. It's just a matter of, it's another tool. It's another pitch. 1 out of 10, I suppose, will respond to those automatic responders.
Okay. Now, because you handle social media across the board for your clients, which channels do you cover? Twitter, Facebook?
I do mostly Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram are the top 3 for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, so does that change between a service and a physical product in terms of, share with those that are listening, what's sort of a great process? I'm big now. I was telling Kelly before we started that I'm big on processes now, and how to create a process of getting your message out on those channels. Would you require, I know there are apps and stuff out there where you can do messages for the whole month if you want. You can put all your quotes out there. Okay. What's a great process for managing your social media as a business, especially if you're a solopreneur and you're trying to do it all yourself?
That's right. It's a lot. Yeah, that's why, a lot of my clients are social media management, because you can understand and know what needs to be done, but especially if you're a solopreneur, you don't have time. You can, a lot of people say, I'll do it myself, and, go for it and get to know it and get acquainted and get into it. But in order for it to be really effective, I would say hand it off to somebody. because it is time consuming. Now, in terms of ways to pare it down, you're going to use the tools that I use. Now, I use these tools to manage the process, but I still know that it's a it's a time consuming thing. So, but yeah, in order to make it from, a bear to a bear cub, to tear it down in half, right? You would use Hootsuite. I love Hootsuite, and it's because I can see the schedules. I can read how my posts are scheduled really clearly. I can write it once in Facebook and then edit it down for Twitter. Some people want to do it. Sometimes, if you have everything you need in the space that you can do Twitter, then hit it on Facebook and you're done once. But a lot of times I tend to tailor it because I don't like the Facebook length to get onto the Twitter, and then you got a tweet that is halfway there and you don't even know. It's kind of cryptic, and it's like, what was the point of that? So, I do spend a lot of time rewriting or tailoring it down for Twitter. I have a version for Facebook, I have a version for Twitter, and and then I have all these streams where I can have constant content streams where I can pull from I keep track of the followers who follow me, so I know what they're up to, and I can engage with them and retweet and post from them, so they know I'm paying attention and I become one of their valued partners. I keep track of who's mentioning me, and if you mention me, I'm going to retweet and repost, so please mention me so that I can retweet and repost. And
it's part of the game,
it's part of the game. Because I'm engaging with you, you're engaging with me, I get your message out, you get my message out. And we can then direct tweet and, direct message and say, well, what is that about? And what can you tell me? And I do keep track of lists. I do have lists of writers. I have lists of reporters. I have lists of people who are influencers and so forth. This is where I can get this content. I create lists of the people who follow me and who I follow so that I have my go-tos. So, yeah, it makes a difference. It makes a difference to get engaged.
I like that a lot because it's important to understand who is supporting you. And one of my good mentors had mentioned, you have to feed who's feeding you.
That's right.
We get so busy chasing and trying to get new followers and new this and new that, but there are people that are really responding that you have to go out. And there's a level of effort on your part, too. I think we forget about that as social media. It's like, I'm just sending my stuff out and whatever happens. But you have to support those that are supporting you.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's sharing and posting your stuff. You want to share and post them. Or at least, you don't want to share stuff you don't like or don't believe in, but at least read it or check it out or keep track of who's doing what. And then, too, they always lead you to other more not more interesting, but as interesting people. So it widens your network, it widens the knowledge that you have, and increases your awareness of what's going on out there.
Yeah, it is. And for you, Kelly, for LinkedIn, because I know I live in LinkedIn, so it can get overwhelming because I do have a lot of people that support me, but then you get a lot of alerts about anniversaries or people celebrating this, or I get quite a few alerts about just changes in their profile or whatever. How do you manage that? Because you do want to try to support them, or you will acknowledge them or whatever. How do you manage those individuals that you want to stay connected with in terms of supporting them?
Well, so much of it is in the settings also. So just amending and knowing what your settings are and what you've agreed to in terms of LinkedIn and the amount of communication that you get sent to you. So I think that's a big piece of it. And then the other piece, too, is that you do have a mechanism to sort of control. Like I know oftentimes you may have people, because there's different etiquette in the different communities. Like in Twitter, not a big deal if you're tweeting pretty frequently, 5-10 times or whatever in one day. LinkedIn, not so much so. We don't really have the patience for over-communication like that. And so if you get to a place where maybe you notice that perhaps someone that you're following is over-communicating, or maybe they're sharing content where you're like, you know what, I'm not interested in that, you can always not have that information end up in your feed, so that you're still connected to them, they're still in your network, but now you're not being exposed to a lot of the content that they're sharing. Because I think that the big thing is that unlike the other platforms where there is a more social aspect, LinkedIn just has a very different appetite for, like, a lot of the political noise and other things that are going on.
Yeah, you be careful with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, there's things that you can say on a Twitter or on a Facebook or even posting on Instagram that you should never do on LinkedIn, just because it's purely supposed to be designed for business. And so it's avoiding those conversations that you typically wouldn't have in a business setting anyway, and taking that same etiquette and applying it in that environment.
Oh, okay.
But one thing you're missing, though, because as you get annoyed with all those notifications, is I like the anniversaries.
Yeah.
Because it's a way to say congratulations. You start on a positive note.
That's true.
Right? And then you find out, and this is in terms of talking to people you haven't connected with in a while. What's going on? How is it out there? I noticed you just moved out to Chicago, San Francisco. What's going on? How's work out there? Just some kind of conversation to find out where people are at and what they're up to, and then you can go back to saying, well, how can I help?
Right.
But it is a good conversation starter.
It is.
And I think, too, so Laris brings up a great point, because, we've gotten so comfortable with, we would rather not have certain information. But to me, that's what the delete key or all these other keys that we have at our disposal are for. Just like when people add you to your their newsletter blast and things like that. Yeah, it could be a little annoying, but every once in a while, if you're not enjoying the content, just delete it. It amazes me when I talk to people and I find out, somebody added me to this newsletter and now I'm getting their messages and I sent them this nasty gram, and I'm like, but why? Like, why not just delete it or unsubscribe?
Or unsubscribe.
Like, why do you have to have this venomous attitude towards it? And so, it's always trying to put yourself in this position where you're treating people the way that you would like to be treated.
Absolutely.
And the other thing that I wanted to touch on that Lara said that I think is so important, the whole notion of sowing and reaping. I think one of the things as business owners that we sometimes can miss the mark on is the fact that we reap what we sow, not necessarily where we sow.
Right.
And so just because maybe it's you and I, and we, maybe it's that I've referred business to you, and in the back of my mind, I may be thinking, oh, well, why hasn't Daryl sent me anything yet? Why hasn't he sent? But then I'm neglecting the fact that, Laris has been sending me a whole lot of stuff.
Exactly.
So we reap what we sow, not necessarily where we sow.
That's a good point.
And so, that's something that I always like to rmind people of, is the fact that don't be so focused on this reciprocal type of relationship with the individuals that we meet. Just focus on sort of having the character and exhibiting the behavior that you want to happen back to you.
I love that.
That's
I love
really
that, because
cool.
that's so key in terms of making sure that we do that. And that's when you're, because you're really not worried about numbers, but you want to pay attention to those that are really supporting you,
Right?
And giving back to them. So I like that a lot. I know a lot of people want to look at social media as a way to monetize it. That's big right now.
Return on
And there are
investment is
ways to
big.
do that. Share a little bit of some of the best ways to monetize social media and how to do that in a way that you can manage it and that it can be consistent in getting, I don't know if it's through advertisement or what. What's the best way to monetize your social media support that you get through either LinkedIn or Facebook? I know Facebook you can get ads and all that stuff. You can sell stuff. LinkedIn, I don't think LinkedIn do that.
Yeah, there's ads.
That part, that okay, yeah.
But the fact that you don't know about it is an indicator that you probably shouldn't be doing it. So, I always think in terms of, okay, if I'm anything like my customer or consumer or my desired buyer, if I'm not doing a certain behavior, why would I expect them to be doing a certain behavior?
Yeah.
So I'm not a big LinkedIn ads person.
probably
I
why
mean,
I
I think
don't
they
know
serve
about
a very specific purpose,
Okay.
and with any form of advertising, it's a long-term commitment. You can't just, LinkedIn is phenomenal about sending you these special offers, $50 off this month for, if you participate in this ad campaign. And while that's great, unless you're looking at a long-term play towards advertising on any of the social media platforms, in my opinion, it's not going to do you any good to commit a week or even 30 days to it, because how many touches does it take, statistically speaking, for the average person to actually make a buying decision? And those touches may not be in that short window of whatever it is that short-term commitment that you've made to invest in an ad. I know Facebook, from what I understand of all the platforms, I think they probably may have the strongest ad, like sort of return on investment for ads. But then from what I understand with that, there's a lot of continuous trying to keep up with the different algorithms or the things that are going on inside of Facebook in order to really justify the return on investment. But I think the thing that makes it so difficult to monetize social media in general is because sometimes it can be a long-term play. So unless you're really tracking the relationship through a CRM, a customer relationship type portal or platform, where I know, okay, Laris and I met in LinkedIn, and now it's 10 years later, and she's, making a buying decision. But, most of us don't even think back that far to say, oh, but where did I first meet her? Oh, wow, yeah, it was on LinkedIn. And so they're not going to attribute it to that social media platform. It's really easy to sort of, I posted an ad, and the person bought from that ad, and so you're going to attribute it to that social media platform. But, yeah, it's not always that cut and dry or black and white in terms of monetizing the return on investment. It's very gray. Unless you're tracking it really well.
Really well. Okay. Wow. That's good information. So I always like to share with those that are listening that are using anything, but for social media, what are some of the pitfalls for social media that you really want to stay away from as a business owner? I don't know, is there certain conversations? Is there certain ways of presenting yourself in terms of your logo, or just certain things that, as a business owner, if you look at a social media site and you see certain things, you're going to just say, oh, no, I'm not doing business with that person. But a lot of times we don't even know that we do certain things that might turn people away or turn people off. What are some of the things that you think businesses should pay attention to for any level of social media, Laris?
That's a good question. I can't say I certainly don't concentrate on the negatives to really keep track of that. But I think going back where we started with those constant barrage, a constant barrage of the same ad is going to turn you off. Another thing is if you use the same image over and over again and change the content, nobody's going to know because it looks the same.
Exactly.
And that's so, so that actually, that's another. Interns are great. We learn together. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to have the same image. You don't want to have the same image all the time. And it can be hard if you're doing an event or a function because you have your graphic, but you don't want to saturate it and bore people with the same thing. So you find you actually have to be prepared to have another graphic and have another, some other way of presenting it. But which leads me to my main point is I don't do any social media posts without an image.
Okay.
I don't do just text. I mean, 99% of the time I don't unless it's like a follow-up to something that just happened and it's the other half of it, then maybe. But generally I have some kind of, shiny to get somebody's attention because otherwise they're not going to read it.
Exactly.
And so I think that is my number one rule. That has to have an image. Every post has to have an image, no matter what platform. And then again, it's being careful what that image is. You want to make sure it's the right size. Sometimes you get these great high-resolution images, but then they're huge when you post them. And then, so I do it anyway. Yeah. But you just want to keep that in mind. That it would be nice if you had a smaller version when you do it. So you do have to prepare your images and prepare your content when you send it out.
And that's a good point. At what do you call saturation? More than 3 or 4 in a week of the same sort of message?
Well, no. Well, yeah. Well, 3 or 4. Yeah, maybe three times a week. Like if I have a webinar, I might advertise it 2 to 3 times a week.
Yes, Max.
But what's worse is the ones who get deleted immediately are the people who, like on Twitter, they send the same tweet 10 times in an hour. For days, or 3 hours. Those you don't even like hide them. It's just like I'm just done. So that but people think they do rightly think that I have to keep sending it for people to see it. Or if I send it, so you can't help but miss it. Well, that's true. But now you've kind of you turn me off,
right.
And so now no more for you. So. So
that's true, though.
But so those things you don't want to oversaturate. You want to make sure you have a post, make sure it's the right size, and make sure it's the right image for the right post, and then change things up. I would say are the biggest things.
Wow. What would you think, Kelly? Is there something in LinkedIn, because that's really, like you said, it's so professional. There's so much you really have to pay attention to. Like even if you're sending it out properly, even the language can turn people off sometimes. So, and you really not know, but people will check out and you never know it. That's
true.
Part of your
I think it's similar. I mean, in terms of overselling. So anytime, I know we teach a lot of our clients to just have balanced content. I mean, there's nothing wrong with talking about how great you are and some of the promotions and things like that you're offering. But it also should highlight, sort of what are some of the industry trends. So just generally speaking, what's going on in your industry. What's going on maybe with some of your strategic partners. And then what's just generally, like, maybe it's you're sharing a post on Memorial Day weekend to wish people a happy Memorial Day. So having balanced content, I think, is really important because there are a lot of people that when you sell too much, they check out because they think that all you're on there to do is to sell and to promote and all that stuff. But I think as long as you have balanced content, there's nothing wrong with sort of giving yourself a pat on the back and sharing information that you think might be relevant around the products and services that you offer.
That's excellent. Now, how much you guys are using video? I'm so big on video now. That's just video marketing and using just simple posts. It could be a 30-second video where you're just sharing with individuals. They can really see your personality, see who you are, and really get, a sense of trust when you're dealing with that. How much do you use video as part of your social media process, and is it effective?
So it's funny, like I've got videos on my profile, on my LinkedIn profile, and I think, I was sharing with you a little while ago the fact that our daughter, our 14-year-old daughter, is the one that produces most of the videos for the newsletters that we send out every month. But it's funny, like for as much as I know how powerful videos are, and because of the fact that, okay, I know how to make them and make them look really good for whatever reason, it's I don't use them that frequently. I love watching them, and I love watching different people's Facebook Live, but I haven't done a Facebook Live yet because I'm like, it's new, and you tend to just sort of stay in your lane and watch it all sort of come to life, and eventually you'll start doing it. But aside from my monthly video, it's sad to say, I'm not really regularly shooting videos. I want to, and I know I need to, though. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, I think it is kind of funny because that it's like a golden goose, and yet we don't use it like we should. So you have it. I mean, you could be you use it on LinkedIn, but you could be throwing it through all of your social media platforms, and the thing could go viral, and you could be really like. But it's just like you just don't get around to it.
Right.
But yeah, it's huge. I had a post that I was working on something for a client. I could barely get like 10 hits, and I threw a little video or even a slideshow. I really just grabbed a bunch of photos and did a photo carousel. That thing hit like 1,000.
I'm telling you, it worked for me too.
It's like, I was like, well, there you go. It's
like, amazing. Folks love videos. I mean, you can spend a lot of effort. I mean, I spend effort in writing content. Like I say, even if you put a pic or something with it, it's nice, but I don't get nowhere near the hits I would get for just a simple video. I mean, it's not even professional, but if I do a nice video, just give them some information, like Laura said, boom, 300 or 400 eyeballs. It's like, okay, I really need to pay attention to this. So
here's a little nugget that we all need to remember is, we're all ignoring is that YouTube channel.
Oh, I know.
Oh, we talked about YouTube last week. YouTube is...
That's what we're forgetting about. That's what we're not doing. But you put all that, you get your YouTube channel sharp, and drop all those videos on it, and then that's just the whole new world. And you have people who are just sitting around on YouTube. Like, we don't, but there's a whole lot of people who are sitting around on YouTube, and all they do is just watch your stuff and comment and forward it, and why not? So we're just like, you're just sleeping on YouTube. We're sleeping on it.
We are, and I know I am. I've had my YouTube channel. I think I signed up for it maybe about 3 years ago. I just started using it I put my first video up about 3 months ago.
Wow.
It was there, but I was like you. I was like, I don't really want to do this. but it is a wonderful tool, and you can blend it in with your social media. I mean, you can
it works
make it
really well
it
with
good.
all of your, what we're going to talk about, or your email correspondence, your email distribution. And you drop those links into your emails, into your social media, and all of this stuff, and it's sturdy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like a Facebook where it's kind of, the link might be there, and then what else, and you can't figure out where it came
That's a
from.
good point. It is sturdy.
It's sturdy, and it's
Yeah.
going to link back to your channel, and they're going to know it's yours,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't have to worry about whose it is. So yeah, it's an excellent tool.
And you can categorize it. So if you want to have a certain group of videos for particular, if you want to do instructions, you might have an instructional folder for how to do LinkedIn, and it's just 10 videos based on that. And I can see now why a lot of people are sort of, when we talk about monetizing, are building membership sites where they're trying to have their own little YouTube on their website, but they're charging you for it. Hey, you pay $10.99 a month and you go and learn it, which is great. This information is good and it's valuable, so I can see that. We are going to take just a quick little break, and when I come back, we're just going to talk a little bit about, still focuses on YouTube, because I was reading something and they were saying, really, if you want to be effective even on a corporate level now, I know Damon Johns did something, and they were talking about you almost have to have a show now as part of your portfolio, in terms of moving into a certain level in terms of social media and getting your name. And I'm sure that's more for people who are in the market of public speaking and getting that. But what we're talking about is YouTube is becoming more and more popular in terms of people, in terms of your resume. Do you have a show? So just want to share a little bit about that when we come back. But again, we're just going to take a quick break. I do want to do a quick little promo about our event coming up. So we'll be back in 30 seconds. Business owners, entrepreneurs, corporate professionals, and nonprofit coordinators, we invite you to Entrepreneur Night number 3. It's sponsored by EliteConversations.com. It will be an entrepreneur night that you will not forget. It'll be on Friday and Saturday, but Saturday, February 25th, is the event for entrepreneurs, and it's going to be at the beautiful Pohanka Volkswagen showroom in Capitol Heights, Maryland. This event will include a night filled with great opportunities for you to promote your business, build relationships, get free business consultations, and also an opportunity just to relax and enjoy the activities that will be there available to you. Some of the activities will be indoor golf. We will also have the Fun Zone presented by Dave & Buster's. We'll have the Pohanka Volkswagen dance floor. So it's going to be a great time. It will be an evening that will include expert interviews. We have 3 dynamic interviews that we're going to be conducting that day, catering, and it will be valet service for the ladies as well. So we ask that you take a look at EliteConversations.com. Just click on the icon or the flyer there, and it will give you much, much more information about the event. So join EliteConversations.com as we partner with Pohanka, City Golf Adventures, Chick-fil-A, Dave & Buster's, Remax Supreme, and RM Photography as we promise to provide you an evening of great fun, knowledge learning, and relationship building. It will be an evening to remember. And that's Entrepreneur Night, February 25th at Pohanka Volkswagen Showroom. Off of the Beltway is exit number 15. All right, and just speaking again about Entrepreneur Night, we're actually going to do a couple little promotions tonight. And the first promotion for the event is, one of my partners wrote this up. I guess we are going to do this for any individual that's watching the show. If you would like to be eligible for a free admission into Entrepreneur Night, just go to our website, www.EliteConversations.com. Hit the button that says Join Our Community, and we will enter you into a contest for a free admission to Entrepreneur Night on the 25th. Second discount. Okay, this is the first one to buy a discounted ticket will get a free promo. at the Elite Conversations Entrepreneur Night. That promo will be your logo, your web address, as well as your entry into the directory of businesses for EliteConversations.com. And just a note on the discounted tickets, they will expire on Saturday of this week. So if you're still interested in getting that discount, this is the time to do it. And you can find the link for the discount at EliteConversations.com. Oh, the next two, and I didn't do that. The next two questions. We got to come up with questions for both Kelly and Loris. And what we're going to do with this contest, the first person that gets the answer for this will get a free entry into the event. The first one is for Kelly, and it would be the number of years that she has been in business for Boost.
For Taylor Leonard Corporation?
For Taylor Leonard Corporation. Don't say what it is. Okay. So is that easy to find on social media?
Well, if you...
I think you might have mentioned it earlier. Yeah, no, I don't think so. But I saw it somewhere online.
Well, if you want the years that Taylor Leonard Corporation has been in business, I think that's somewhere. Look, if you work for the state of Maryland, you can figure it out.
Figure it out. So that's going to be something you have to search for, and we are going to... give a free entry to the first person that put the answer to that question into the response and comments, and the first one to answer that question will give a free admission. And what can we come up for Loris? What's a good one that what we might have mentioned today? Oh, you named the 4 social media channels that you support. So the first person that provides
I'll just go 3.
Yeah.
Was it 3?
Yeah.
Oh, we left out LinkedIn.
Right.
Okay, so you're going to have to go back.
Yeah, you did, because
you
I was thinking, look, we could do some work together. That's what I was
thinking. But I do LinkedIn. I forgot about it. It is 4.
Well, now you gave the number.
Well, I gave you 1 out of 4.
Yeah.
So you got to figure out what the other 3 is, which isn't going to be hard.
Right.
But so how about that? I didn't realize that's true. And I do that.
Yep. So the first person, and she mentioned it, you might have heard it on the broadcast, and this is for those that are listening live and those that are listening on the replay. So we'll look it up towards the end. You have to have your entry in by the end of Friday. So that's the 4 for Laris, 4 channels that she support. How long Kelly Leonard has been in business with Kelly Leonard, and also go to our website and join our community, and we'll put you in for a free entry. Okay, ladies, we're getting ready to wind down. I do something, and I apologize. I was supposed to give you guys an alert on this. I do this for all of my shows, so if you've seen any of my shows, I do what's called an entrepreneur countdown. And I like to learn from both of you 3 things. The first one is what are the principles and traditions that you use that keeps you motivated, that keeps you focused when times get tough? You know how it is an entrepreneur. I ain't going to tell you what Kelly looked like when she walked in here today.
Wait a minute now.
Kelly's been up since, 6 this morning?
Oh, yeah.
She was I'm here.
I was on the road since that time,
sometimes
early morning.
It's something in you that drive that keeps you going. So that's the first thing. What drives you? The second thing is what is a resource that you would like to share with those that are listening? And I'm sure both of you have a ton of resources, but just talk about one that you use that helps make your life easier. And then the last question is to spotlight a business owner, someone that you do business with, that you would like to spotlight them on the show today, provide their information and how we can find them. And it might be someone that we want to reach out to get their support. So I'm going to start with you, Laris.
No.
Yay!
She's like,
take it away.
She was looking down, hoping that I didn't go
I'm still writing down the question. I'm still writing down the question. Wait a minute, I don't know.
He can repeat it for you. Don't worry.
Yeah, I set you up because I
she's laughing. See, she's laughing because she's second. Yeah, that's why she's laughing. Okay.
So what's some of the principles that you live by that Mama told you, Grandmama told you, that keeps you going each and every day?
I mean, that's a good question. Sometimes I ask myself why I do what I do. I think it's I definitely was instilled with a quality of excellence, and I know even Oprah just said that. And I think maybe it may be our generation. We were bred that you had to be twice as good. You had to be excellent. You had to do really well. You had to be the best at what you do, and so you just strive to do that. So I think just making sure that you produce excellent product is what will save you at the end of the day. Because if you don't, it's going to come around and haunt you. And then trying to keep your word, be a woman, a man of your word. Those are the things those are just your basic, integrity is what's really going to keep you at the end of the day. What drives you is just that dream, that goal, that desire to either own your own business or own my own time, or to have the ability to make an impact on your community, on the world, to be able to do something different. Whatever it is that made you say that I wanted to jump out here will burn in you, and I just found it impossible to let that dream go. And so you just kind of keep pursuing it in many different ways, many different aspects. You try this, you try this, you try this, you try this, because you just want to get there, and you just keep struggling, you keep pushing until that fire burns out, and you just say, okay, I just did it. I can't do no more. But you're gonna keep going until at least you hit that day. So you get to that success that you've been dreaming of, because that can happen too, because God has a promise. I guess that's what it is that I know that God has a purpose, and he has a will, and he has a design, and he's put this fire in my belly for a reason, and he's going to make good on his promise. And it's the faith that you're going to get there.
Okay, excellent. Yeah. I like that a lot. What's a resource? I know we quickly mentioned Hootsuite. What's a great resource that you think business owners should take advantage of? Preferably free.
Okay, my top resources would be Hootsuite, in terms of if you're a business and you just want to manage your own platforms, and you can do up to 3 platforms in Hootsuite for free. My second general suggestion is MailChimp for your email distribution system, and we didn't get into that, but you really need to you need to talk to your customers, you need to talk to your prospects, you need to talk to your friends and family who are supporting your business along the way, and to constantly get those messages out, you need to do it through email, because people actually still read those things. And it is a great tool, because when you set up your MailChimp, it will post to your social media, so that's a social media tool too. You'd make it once and it hits 3 times. You can't beat that, really. And it's free. Well, yeah, it's free up to a list of, I think, 5,000?
5,000?
3,000?
Nice.
Is it that high?
It's 3 to 5. And at this point, I'm a little, I think it's 3,000. Okay. 3,000 people in your list is free.
Okay.
Now, I don't have 3,000 people on my list. I should, but I really don't. So, hey, it's still free. So those are the 2 biggest resources to me that will save you time and will help you get multitask. That is, they're multitasking tools, and that's what we do. That's what we live on. So that's mine. Now, excellent. You said you want to go to the third one now?
No,
you want to come back?
I want to finish with you.
Okay.
Unless you need time, I can have her do the first 2. You can cover.
No, I would say spotlight. I think I'm going to go ahead and say I'm going to spotlight Prince George's Suite magazine, because they are the voice of Prince George's County, and they do excellent work. And you can find them online and go ahead and get your subscription. Go ahead and as a business owner, you want to be spotlighted in it. It is a magazine to be seen in. So go ahead and get involved with that.
Prince George's
Suite magazine.
So is
I think it's pgsuite.com.
Okay. Definitely. We will take advantage of that. I need to look that up myself. Okay, Kelly, it's on you. What are some of the things that that motivates you, principles that you live by, that keeps you going?
I think one of the things that motivates me most is just this, it's just this hunger to do something a little bit different, and something that I love doing. I know as a child, I always had this desire to just sort of please my parents, and as a result of that, I studied accounting. I'm a CPA, which a lot of people are like, why? with that about you.
What?
You're not. You don't seem like that type. But so then when going at this entrepreneurial route, it was something so totally different than sort of what I was groomed to be as a professional woman, and so forth. And so there's just this hunger to be in this community of innovators and risk takers, and it's just amazing just the love and the community that's in small business and entrepreneurship. And so I think that's really what drives me, is just this desire to help other people to realize their God-given potential and to actualize what their dreams might be. And so, the thing that inspires me, or one of the statements underlying our business, is this whole notion of rise above the status quo. And so RISE is an acronym. So it's responsiveness, integrity, simplicity, and excellence. Wow. So delivering in all those aspects. And anyone that knows me knows when they send me an email, they're like, "Oh my gosh, you're so responsive. I know you're so busy. Like, you're in a million places, but I always feel like you're there with me, regardless of the fact that you've got all these other things going on." And so really just being in this place where I feel like God has gifted me to serve a lot of people and to sort of be a light in their lives.
That's excellent.
So that's what drives me.
Wow.
In terms of tools, so there's two. So one that is a complete lifesaver for me is a tool called Calendly.
Oh, yeah. I think you've told me a couple times.
I love Calendly because, one of the things that I do a lot is I schedule these quick 5 and 10-minute meetings. And Calendly, because for years what I found is I was going back and forth. Do these dates work for you? No, that doesn't work. Well, this date, no, that doesn't work. Now it's like through this program where you just send them a link to your calendar, your dashboard, and then you can give them, okay, send them the link for a 10-minute meeting, send them for a 20-minute, send them for a 1-hour face-to-face meeting. And so it takes a lot of that back and forth out of the equation, which I think is highly inefficient in terms of all the back and forth.
Yeah.
So I love Calendly. And then another tool that isn't really a tool that you use constantly, but PhotoFeeler. Are either of you familiar with PhotoFeeler? PhotoFeeler. So PhotoFeeler.com is this website where they evaluate your headshot. So look, Larry's like, so it's this wonderful tool where you go and you share your headshot in the PhotoFeeler community. And that community is going to judge or rate your headshot based on how likable do you look, how competent, and how influential do you look, which is all really important qualities to have when you're thinking about, because oftentimes we put a headshot on our LinkedIn profile, for example, and we love it. But what people won't tell you is that you look mean or you look mad or like you. And so it's nice to get an objective group of people to provide feedback on your headshot. So I like PhotoFeeler.
PhotoFeeler. I'm going to have to look that one up.
PhotoFeeler.com. And then in terms of who I want to shout out, my girl Sharon Washington.
There you go.
Do you know Sharon?
Of course.
What?
She's like, of course.
Of course.
So Sharon, the P3 solution, and she probably, and who knows, she's a Facebooker, so maybe she's listening on live. I don't know. But anyway, Sharon has just been a godsend to me, to our business. She's helping me work through some things right now with this book that I'm about to, that I've written, and she's designing the cover, and she's the host of, or she's got an annual event called the Market Simple, the Summit. So that's taking place in October, and she's my shero.
Wow.
Love her to pieces.
How do you reach the Sharon?
Sharon, so the P3 Solution is her website, or you can go to Market Simple, the Summit. If you Google Market Simple, the Summit, it'll come up. So Market Simple, the Summit. But yeah, P3 Solution. You can also find her on Facebook. You can find her on LinkedIn, Twitter, all those great places. But she is a social media branding, marketing strategist / diva. Yes.
All right. She's sharp. And I was just checking in online. I see Minister Rosa J. Hodge. Thanks for joining us. She says, I use Calendly too.
Oh, awesome.
Okay. Yes, I love Hootsuite.
Yes.
But thanks for joining us. And Garrett Johnson just joined us. So we are winding it down. I appreciate you guys for coming on. This time goes by so quick.
Yes.
We have already gone over a little bit, but I appreciate you for taking the time out and sharing with those about social media, about roadblocks, about where you're pointing? What am I forgetting?
I wanted to go ahead and give a special out to everybody who's listening to this show and everyone who's going to come to the event on the 25th.
Yes.
Yes, that if you watched or come, you get $50 off any social media management package or any press release, press media
nice.
services
Press
package.
release.
$50 for 2 months.
2 months. I like that.
How about
like that.
Awesome.
And real quick, Laris is going to be one of our Knowledge Zone experts. We do something a little different at our events where we have, when you come, you can sign up for a free 15-minute consultation with any of the Knowledge Zone experts.
Oh, wow.
In social media, taxes, how to raise funds for your business. So definitely, we're getting ready to sign off. But I was going to say, for you guys, I want you to share, Laris, a little bit how people can reach out to you. Your website, do you have any events coming up? And then we'll let Kelly speak.
Well, my only event is with you on the 25th. I am also going to go ahead and pitch the ASALH, the Association for the Study and Life of African American History. They're doing their annual Black History Month luncheon at 12 o'clock on the 25th. Doors open at 12:15. They have a features author event with very high-profile authors and their book signings from 10 a.m. So you can start with a 10 a.m. book signing, which is actually free, and then you can go to the luncheon, which is a ticketed event. It's going to be at the Renaissance D.C. And on 9th Street on the 25th. But then we'll be doing your show, your event with the big, all of that with the golf and the people, and we're going to do all of that on Saturday, and then I'm going to sleep all day Sunday. But if you hit me, you can catch me at Laris at lgbproductions.com. So that's L for Laris, G for Good, B for Bernard, productions.com, and that is my website as well. Or you can probably even call me, 202-494-0816.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And how can these individuals learn more about LinkedIn, get in touch with you, your classes? I'm telling you, Kelly provides whatever you need in social media. She has got it all down packed. How can we reach you, Kelly?
So the best way would probably be to visit our website. So that's Boost, so BOOST, mylinkedin.com, boostmylinkedin.com. You can also reach me on Twitter. So my Twitter handle is Kelly T. Leonard, Leonard.
Excellent.
You can also find me on LinkedIn, Kelly T. Leonard. And then also you can reach me by telephone, 240-994-4861. Again, 240-994-4861. I do have the next round of Boost camps are coming up. So LinkedIn, social media, they are web-based. So wherever you might be listening in from, it's a 4-part series that takes place, so 90 minutes over 4 weeks, that really takes you from zero to hero on LinkedIn. So invite anyone to join us for that event. And then also, if you're in the Montgomery County area, or maybe you're just a morning person and want to come from Prince George's or D.C. or anywhere else, every third Thursday morning I host the Small Business Network. And feel free to just give me a call or connect with me on LinkedIn and say, hey, I heard you say something about this Small Business Network thing. Tell me more about it. But it is a monthly gathering where we bring the business community together to network, collaborate, share best practices in an effort to stimulate regional economic development. So
and what time is that?
7 a.m.
See, right there.
Thank you, ladies. You guys
7 a.m. It's
wonderful.
a wake-up call, yes.
Reach out to these ladies for more about social media. My name is Daryl Spears with EliteConversations.com. I thank you so much for always checking in and supporting us. And as I always say, every day is a good day if you do it God's way. And He is always the number one person and the smartest person in the room.
Amen.
Thank you. Have a great day, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks,
Bye.
Daryl.
Thank you, Daryl.
Daryl's turning the music on and off again.